very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all listening to the DATV Worldwide Net, which we hold every Sunday at this time. Wish to welcome everybody on frequency. We have quite a long list today, so it's very nice, and we certainly hope it's going to be interesting. Just a few announcements, of course. We want to thank the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us the opportunity to use their satellite. And we also wish to thank the DATV group, three eminent groups, which is the BATC, British Amateur Television Club, and of course AMSAT DL, which is the German Amateur Satellite Club, and then of course AMSAT UK. We also wish to thank all the participants who come up so religiously every Sunday, and we have a lot of viewers on YouTube as well watching. I just want to mention we should perhaps, if you are watching on YouTube and you'd like to continue, just pop the like button and the little bell icon so that it reminds you. Sometimes our internet goes down, I have to restart, and then we are on another channel. And so if you've got those two buttons popped in, it'll automatically remind you or show you where you are. Right, today we saw Mike battling a little bit with his power amp, but I think you've got it sorted, Mike. That's G0MJW. On the list today, let me just pull up the list. We have the following. We've got ZS1 Mike Leon, who can possibly tell you about the crazy problem with a QO down converter, a problem I had, which he didn't, but I'll leave it up to him. Maybe he wants to say something. And then Martin to follow, G8KOE, to Brian, G6HFS. Brian, I'm pleased to hear you're getting a bit better. And then to Benno, Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-Ray, who has been away last week having fun. And then down to Peter in Wales, GW7BZY. He's looking at waveforms. Yeah, I look at waveforms, but they look like a Coke bottle in a way. It's called the pin-up. And then hello to Phil, Mike 0 Papa India Tango. Phil gave a very interesting lecture yesterday at Bletchley Park, and I hope he can show us what he did yesterday. He did show us something early in the week, and it was fascinating. So, and by the way, Phil has been on YouTube. He's been on BBC, I think. So we'll need to queue up for autographs there, Phil. And then hello to Paul, Ocean Echo 8 Papa Charlie Kilo. And nice to see you. You say your dish is still not right, but I saw you earlier. You were fine. And then to Mike, G0MJW. Hope you got your story sorted, Mike. And Frank, welcome, Frank. I don't know what's happened to you. I know you had a spot of issues with the mini tuner, but it looks like you're back on frequency. That's ZS6 Golf Echo. Haven't seen Frank for a while, so it's wonderful to have him back on. Okay, so with that, I'm going to pass the micro to ZS1 Mexico. Take it away, Leon.
Sorry about that. I missed the button. Okay, yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. I see it's all in the afternoon zone. There are no good mornings. Ed is not there, and there are no good evenings. So yes, nice to be back. Yeah. Okay, Gary. Yes, Gary's got one of these fancy narrow band down converters from Cooney. And after a lightning storm, it didn't want to work at his place. He opened it up, and there are 3 little LEDs, and only 2 of them would come on. So Gary sent it down to me, and I fired it up, and lo and behold, all 3 come on. 2 of them are on, and the third one flashes. You know, it's like telling you I'm active. And I've done all the tests. And Gary, by the way, when I did the sensitivity test, I had quite a long piece, about a meter of RG316 feeding the thing from the generator at 10 gigs. So you can add at least another 3 dBs there. So your sensitivity is at least minus 120 dBm, which I think there's nothing wrong with the sensitivity, and the other bits are right as well. By the way, when I did the oscillator offset test, I didn't dig out the generator again. You know, I showed you where the 10 gig generator is, and I already had everything packed up when you asked me to just see whether the slaving oscillator input is working. So what I did as a 10 gig source is those little dielectric stabilized oscillators that I sent you one. I just fired up one of them, and it is very close to 10.5 gigs, and it immediately worked. So I had a good very small portable source. I ran it off a single lithium ion cell. It's supposed to get 5 volts, but I checked it, even from 2.7 volts upwards it works. So 3.7, it was a fully charged cell, so it was about 4 volts. It worked quite well. So we had a good test there. So yes, I think it's just a good fresh Cape air that got into the thing when it got here, you know, no pollution and stuff, and that's why it started to work again. I don't know. Anyway, in the meantime, I received my lithium ion control boards. You know, Gary, I showed you those banks and banks of lithium batteries that I got, and this is the one type. I got 2 types. Okay, there you can see this. I ordered for 4 cells because that gives you 12.8 volts, which is nice for running stuff in the shack. If you have 200 amp hours or whatever, or even more, some of those cells are quite big. This does the balancing, it does the low voltage discharge, and protection from over voltage for charging, and all sorts of things like that. So this is a nice one with decent wiring diagram on the top of the thing. The back of the thing is just black. The other one, that one, by the way, will do 100 amps. You can draw 100 amps from it. This one is 120 amps, but the literature on it is not to be trusted. So I measured it out, and I think I know how it works now. But yeah, this one's 120 amps, so it's a little bit more. This one's got 20 FETs in parallel, whereas the other one's got 10 FETs in parallel for the switch off. Anyway, I don't know when I'll have a chance to fire this lot up, because I'm working again, and yeah, pretty soon by 4 o'clock I want to hit the road to go back to Bredasdorp. It's about 145 kilometers, I think, if I remember correctly, that I must drive to get to my other QTH, so that I can go to work again. Having lots of fun at work. It's really nice to be back at work. I always enjoy being at work, and I'm doing all sorts of other funny things now, not just telemetry that I'm used to. Anyway, okay, we have a nice list. So Martin, over to you. G8KOE for the group from ZS1 Mike.
Okay, I clicked on the wrong button as well, which is why I was a bit slow. I clicked on the RF off instead of the RF on. Right, let's mute the sound. Yeah, fairly busy week. Last week I was struggling with the PA, which the driver module had gone intermittent. You could tap it, heat it up, etc, etc. In fact, I've got 2 of the PAs that do that. So in my wisdom, decided to go a different route So let's see if we can find a picture. That's the PA, and we've totally bypassed now the module, which I always forget the device, but couldn't find initially what the problem was. So I thought, well, I know I've got something I can drive sufficient power in. I wasn't sure whether the module, I think it's got earthing or some connection on the bottom of it, whether that's but both the pallets that I've got, I can heat them up and the power comes back, and as it cools down it goes off. I've got to do a bit more testing on the other one to see if I can actually locate it down to a bit more sense, but I thought, right, we've got to get something up and running. So we popped that, and we're driving it with an SG Labs PA, which is a bit of an overkill, but that's capable of 20 watts, but I'm not running it at 20 watts. So that's what the setup at the moment, and since going that route I've been able to get a little bit more power out, and I'm drawing less current than I was. So I sort of a couple of amps down on what I was doing to get similar sort of power. So quite happy with that at the moment. But when it warms up in the garage, and you there, Mike, I don't know what temperature it was in there, because the only temperature I've got that I can measure is the PA, and I've had the PA on. But I should think it's a similar to, I think you said 10 degrees or whatever. What else have we been up to? I'm sure. Oh yeah, I've been looking at the Pluto, my second Pluto, and decided to put it in a box, so there's a bit more airflow around. And that's as far as I've got. I need to clean the sticky marks off the top of the Leo Bodner. But the idea was that the box will contain the later Pluto, be locked up, and I was quite pleased with the size of the box. Okay, it's plastic, but I like plastic. I don't end up shorting things out. And I've left the rear end of it open, so as I can see all the lights out, including the one that will be on the Leo Bodner. The other end looks like that. Oh. Oh, come on, focus up. Anyway, it's not going to focus it. Oh, it's going to be out of focus. Anyway, that's what it is. And with all the connections out the back, so as I can connect it up to the network adapter, etc. So quite humid with that as a box. It's worked out quite well. Let's go back to the screen. The other thing that I don't know whether you remember, I've been playing with my speakers, which are Creative Lab speakers. They're T30, and anybody that has purchased them in the sort of EU area, they have a sort of a 15-minute go to sleep time, which is absolute pain. Oh, I see there's a link there. Yeah, I can't look at Mike's thing, I'll get sidetracked. Anyway, I was hunting around to sort of find out whether there is a way to overcome it. And surfing around, found this information. Let's get a bit bigger. They all seem to use that same chip with this shutdown configuration on pin 2. Well, looking at pin 2 on my set of speakers, it wanders off, and there's this potential divider network of 210Ks, and one end goes starts off high with the supply and then goes down low. So I cut the track and connected it directly to the supply, the 28 volt supply. In my case it's actually 24 volt because I'm got the wrong power supply, so I blew up the other one, or the other one died. But that's secured that, so anybody else that's got those, it's actually a nice easy. The hardest thing was cutting the piece of track with my poor eyes, but then there's a convenient point right next to it with the supply rail on. And now, okay, the little LED that's on the front of the speakers goes to sleep, but the speakers don't go to sleep. I could have permanently stuck it on, so I don't miss out on the first few bits of anything anymore. I did try putting a low level signal through to keep them alive, but found that was annoying when I put headphones on, etc., that you got this low level noise through. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. I think that's basically it. Oh yeah, there is rumours that Gary's producing a kit soon with instructions, because he took one look at my sort of setup, and he's produced a much better one now. So hopefully that will soon be available as a kit, which should be good, with call signs on, etc. Right, on that, I think it's Brian's to take it next. Now, I understand you had problems with your dish wandering off a little bit. I've nearly forgot. DATV Red, the latest version that OAN's released, version 3.99. I think absolutely superb. He's tidied up a lot of things, including as you scale it around, it all hangs together nicely, and various other bits and pieces. I'm able to do 266 with it, as long as there's not too many moving pictures. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't on the moving stuff, and static stuff was fine, but my PC is at its probably limits, shall we say, a little bit, but maybe there might be some even more improvements. Most circuits probably also use the thumb up power on, yeah. Yes, I'll read a bit more of that there Mike, but I'm happy with my speakers now. But yeah, no, the DATV Red, the latest one, definitely would download it. It just installed exceedingly well, and works exceedingly well. So thanks to OAN and everyone else that has helped him so far. It certainly helped me. If I can do it, anybody can. Right, that was nearly forgot to mention that. That was one of the most important things to do. So it's all good. So right, now it's round to Brian. Hope you're starting to feel better, which I think you said you were. I'll put a test card and it's all yours. From Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo.
Let's mute the audio. Oh dear. Yeah, been under the weather for quite a few weeks, which hasn't helped with the problems with the dish. It basically shifted quite a bit, and I didn't like it, so I took it down. And after thinking about it, I thought, perhaps a bit beefier. So got a heavy duty instead of a medium, I've got a heavy duty and some heavy duty raw bolts. I hope that's better anyway. So that took a week or so in between a bit of wind and rain here. Anyway, got it all back up yesterday and tuned up. In actual fact, it's quite funny because although I just changed the mounting brackets and realigned it, seems to be half a dB up from what I had originally after realigning, so perhaps I was slightly off. So instead of me 8.5, I'm getting over 9 now, which pleased with. Just hope it stays there. So that was fun and games. I thought better be safe than sorry. The only other thing I've been doing is I finished my little PTT control. I built up the little Pluto low profile board that Mike produced via the BATC, and built it all up, put it in my RF box, which is basically got the variable attenuator in it, the Pluto 13 24 sems preamps, etc, etc, and then each amplifier for those bands had a heavier duty relay board put in, which is just basically you enable it with a positive or negative, whatever you decide. So there's a couple of switches added where you can bypass, switch your amplifiers on manually if you want to go off and do a SSB or want the amplifier switched on. Each PT is switched, so when you switch the 13 sems preamp in, it puts a PTT output from the Pluto relay into the power amp, which just toggles that, because the 13 sems amp takes about 1.4 1.5 amps. So I'll put a little I say high power relay boards in there. They're sort of supposed to be 10 amps, which I think should cover that. And basically, yeah, you can put it in auto mode, and as soon as you hit start or stop your streaming icon, and just wait a few seconds and off you pop. Allow for any spear eye before the main amplifier comes on. So that's what I've mainly been up to, really. Still feel a bit yuck. Just can't get rid of this, goes round and round in circles. Didn't really feel up to it this week putting the dish back up, but Francis G6NIW, the missus, said, yeah, there's a pair of hands here, what you want to do? So she boldly lifted it up, which gave me a heck of a lot of easier. Slid it on the fixing pole and then went from there. So that's really it from me. So I'll put a test card up, and I think it's round to young Benno, PA3 FBX from G6HFS.
I was not ready. Okay, let's see if I have audio. Actually, I have a new microphone, which is hanging somewhere around here. So I like Leon to make some comments on that. At least it is less noisy. I see also it's quite strong. I think I can turn it a little bit down. It's going into the red zone of OBS, and I don't like that. So I think turning it a bit down is a little bit better. Okay, let's test that. Hi guys, for the rest, well, obviously I couldn't stay behind on that one. So in 4 days it arrived here. not much to talk about it besides that it has arrived, and I haven't played with it because I was busy with the terrestrial repeater. I actually installed a new antenna there with filters on 23 SAMs, 4 quartz, double quartz in 4 directions, and a decent combiner. I think I have shown you over the last month or so that piece of iron. And actually I used the VNA here to test its working, and if I keep a test antenna in front of it, it did me about -2, -3 dB loss. And keep in mind there is, for each antenna there was over 15 dB gain of amplifier inside. And now with the new antenna, or with the old antenna, which is, well, actually is close, but it's not here. Let me get it. This was the reason why I had to work on it. Actually, the original idea was to have some kind of cover on top of the antenna, and this is the last one. The rest is all gone through the wind and other environmental issues. So this one is already broken and will be gone as well. But as you see, the 4 antennas inside here are just combined together with the steps, the right order, and actually this one does exactly 10 dB less. If I use my VNA, it's -13 dB with this test antenna in front of it. So that's fun. I have in the other one, it's all active. I should close the door because we have sun in the Netherlands today. It's a sunny day. Anyway, so that one is installed, and the first ideas is that on DATV it did not improve much. But on analog TV, it did improve a lot. And that was right within expectations, because digital DATV, you are looking at the mare, and the mare is obviously not a signal level, but it's a quality level. But anyway, I'm quite happy with it. At least it's more robust installed, and that was what I did over the last week. Nothing else much, and I think the microphone is doing pretty nice, so I like decent reports on that. One guy is always very looking on to the sound, and that's obviously Peter. Microphone on to you. I hope my signal is strong enough. I saw I'm a little bit low. I can turn it a little bit up. And I also have to realign my dish after the latest storms, but because on my reception part I also miss about 3 dB. So my signal going up must be also a little bit low. But I still have some room left in my preamps. Microphone on to you, Peter, from Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray. Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray.
Okay, maybe. See whether we fire up the repeater or not. Oh, satellite, should I say? And of course, then I've got to turn the sound down. I'm using a 2-machine, what do you call it? Okay, maybe. See whether we fire up the repeater or not. Oh, satellite, should I? There we go. I mean, 2 computers. One is for transmit, and the other one is for receive. So, preparing for H.266 in all the fullness of time. I think I do need 2 machines. Probably need another machine, a new machine. But that's what we've got for the moment. Okay, yeah, everything's okay. I don't think I've been on for a while. Yeah, quite a lot happening. Wife's in hospital with this flu, so she's been in there about a week now. So that's taken a bit of my time, and I've had to learn the mysteries of the washing machine and the tumble dryer. And I've always been able to cook noodles in the microwave, so that I can feed myself quite successfully. But otherwise, it's a bit it's a bit different to what I'm used to. So there we are. But hopefully she'll make a recovery and be out sometime soon. All good otherwise. Everything I was planning on well, I am planning on waveform monitor, because I'm still trying to push vMix, obviously, because being my favourite. And OBS, whilst is okay, it doesn't have a waveform. I'm running 15 frames a second. I think it was LUF, is it? Luff. Brian, is it? Or Phil? I'm going to look down on the HFS. Yeah. I mean, if you've not got the either computer or whatever reason, maybe a smaller frame. I think it's transmitting 720p, probably too much. And like I said, I'm running 15 frames a second. I am running 720p, but the picture probably looks no worse, probably better at standard resolution. But there again, if you go standard resolution, you may go and be transmitting in the 601 gamma when you're feeding it 709. Well, ideally 709. Drop my glasses. So that's where the waveform monitor comes in. So waveform monitors, I've got a little bit of kit, and now I had it all sorted out, and then I changed my mind what I was going to do. So then it sort of got a bit complicated. I see. So I'm a bit. What's up? Shall we go and look at Gary's waveform? I tell you who has the best waveform, and I'm sure there'd be no surprise, and that would be Leon. A very nice waveform indeed. And I'm going to look at Gary's, because Gary's is, while a nice picture, there is a little bit of a strange waveform. Not picking on Gary, of course. Let's see if you open it. Now, if I open this now, open clipboard. No, that's not working. Okay, so let's open from file. Files. There we are. Desktop. Photos. Gary. Open. Okay, there we go. Now, no, I don't want this. What am I getting? I'm just looking now. Desktop. There. Okay, so why is the open file? Gary. Okay, let's try. Should we go back? Look. No. I'll try again. Last time that works the charm. Alright, open. Okay, there's Gary's waveform. I always try and get it on the screen. Audio. Now there's Gary's waveform. Are we working that now? May be able to see some incongruities in that. It looks a bit strange in some ways, like the black, and then the raised further black, and then something's I take the line either side is the background, which appears white but isn't quite making it to the top. And then Gary's head will be the bit in the middle. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that looks okay. Skin tone is more or less at the 7 mark. 7 lines up. But there's some strangeness going on at the bottom and the top of the trace going across. And if you look at this picture, it is reflected in the image. It somehow doesn't look proper black. And while the white is unnoticeable as far as issues are concerned, it's a little bit strange. So we look at someone else's. Okay, we know who this fellow is. So, and how can I get his image onto the screen? Probably not for waveform. It's not going to work for me, is it? How can I get this in? Anyway, by comparison, this picture looks far better in the fact that I can't show the waveform at the moment. I have a photograph of it, but it's very difficult to sort of cue it up. I have been working at this. It's just I haven't worked hard enough, I don't think, to get it working properly. No, I can't find out which one it is. But believe me, this waveform works to the very bottom and to the very top and looks perfect, to be honest with you. This one, strangely, is quite good as well. Yeah. Anyway, that hasn't worked out very well, has it? Obviously, need more time to sort that out. But only one I've sort of sorted. I've got Gary's waveform. I can't remember now, but I'll work on that. So, and I've got to go out and visit the missus for 2:30. So, what time is it now? The point being is that why do you want to use vMix? Well, the waveform monitor. As Mike, I think Benno said about audio. I'm not really an audio guy. I'm a video guy, and the audio is just. I try my best, but I'm not all that bothered about it, as I'm only running 16 hertz of audio sampling now and 24 bits of AAC plus. But I do like a good video image, and you need a waveform monitor basically, like you need a peak power meter or a LUF meter for the audio. You do need a waveform monitor to make the most of the available video and to make it look nice and clean and bright, etc. Or as you want it to look. I mean, obviously there's a right and there's a wrong, but the right is what you want rather than any specification, because I'm not within any specification the BBC would recognise, as my clipping is not 100% and other matters which would upset them, making my picture unbroadcastable. But that's about it from this side. Not meaning to pick on anybody in particular, that was just unfortunate. I managed to grab Gary's waveform and have it handy for me. I have others, but I haven't titled them, so I can't really assign them to anybody. That's it from GW7BZY. vMix, 60 quid for the basic. You get 3 inputs. If you use a video mixer, which I do as well, you can have more. I have 4 on the video mixer and 2 spare on the vMix, but who uses more than, unless you have them silly things on the screen that float about or flash, which rob your data rate anyway. So, you know, running bars across the bottom and others just robs your data rate, so why do it? From GW7BZY, round 2. I was going to say, what else? Yeah, Gary, I'm being on too long now, haven't I? Gary, yeah, I'm glad you've managed to do your speakers without blowing it up. Obviously, you're getting better with things. Sorry that you're still blowing up your amplifiers. Probably run on too long, you know what I mean? Leon, excellent picture, excellent audio, etc. I haven't. Gary too. Benno, excellent audio, a little bit over the top. My end, you're just sort of hitting the. You could do with a peak music meter or a LUF meter, and then we'll look forward to seeing what the rest of the lads are doing. From GW.
turn the audio off. Hang on. Am I coming through? Can't see myself at the moment. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I'm there. I want to look at myself. Peter, yeah, sorry to hear about your wife. Yeah, not good, mate. I've been there a few years back. I hope she gets well soon. Yeah, not nice. Anyhow, yeah, Leon, yeah, those chargers, I'm going back to the old days. You know, you got 100, 120 amps for a little tiny thing like that. I mean, years ago, you would have had to have, blimey, God knows how many transistors. Great big heat sink, great big transformer. Oh dear, yeah. Those were the days, yeah. What have I been up to? Oh, Gary's already sort of mentioned some of the stuff. But really, I've been up to sorting out a presentation which I did yesterday. I'll give you a bit of an idea what it was about, but I can't show it at the moment because there is some slides on there with information about the other two presenters, and I just daren't put that up on a satellite. It wouldn't be fair upon them. So I need to sort that out. But I'll do that. I'll remove a couple of slides, etc. Make sure there's no other people involved in the slides, and I'm happy to do the presentation to you guys. I'm not going to impose it upon you, so if there is interest, then I'll do it. If not, I won't. But a little bit of a whet your appetite as to what the presentation was all about. I think most of you know that it was the 80th anniversary of the first time that this machine was run in Bletchley Park, which is Colossus. It's a code-breaking machine. And let's get rid of that. And it was the 80th anniversary, and there were 3 speakers. It's the first time I've ever done a talk with more than myself, so it was quite. I just really didn't know how it was going to go. But to the other 2 speakers was David. He was or is from the Government Communications Centre. We sort of know it as GCHQ, and he did the wartime history on Colossus. So he covered the wartime side of it, so that's the history bit. Then what I did is to cover the rebuild, and basically how could we rebuild a machine that was all classified and all the information was not in the public domain. So that was my bit. And then the 3rd speaker, which was Martin Gillow. Martin is a software engineer, and absolutely amazing what he does. He does virtual machines, and he's done a virtual Colossus, and it's fully working, and it's all virtual. It's fully working. All the switches works, and the outputs work, and the tape works. Absolutely amazing. And he's done Colossus, and I think he's done, in all, my memory serves me correct, he's done about 6 machines. And they're absolutely brilliant, and they fully work. And when Martin does his software, he doesn't just sort of do some pretty pictures and then in the background there's just an algorithm to produce something that looks about right. His program that sits behind it actually works the same way as the machine itself, and it's quite phenomenal. And yeah, the talk went well, far better than I ever thought. And I sent a few emails off this morning to the other 2 presenters, and I sort of said to them, well, it went so well, we could go on the road, I reckon, as a trio. It was a very enjoyable event for me, and for the other 2 as well. So who knows? But it was not streamed, and there is no official video of it. If someone took a video, we don't know, but there is no stream, so I can't point you to a YouTube or anything like that, because it shouldn't be there. But you know, if there is appetite for it, I'm more than willing to do it. I don't think I'm here next week, but if you do want me to do it, it'll be the week after. But if you don't, fine, I'm quite happy. But that's really all I've been doing. So this morning I've just been making sure that all my slides are not accessible by anybody else, because they were on Dropbox, so I've removed all of that. So I've just been tidying up this morning, sending a few emails around. And that's really about it. And it's highly, not really exciting, no electronics. I haven't turned my soldering iron on or anything, so I've just been doing that. But that's, I think that's enough of me. Who's next? Let's have a look on the list. Paul's next. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put up, as normal, I'm going to put up a test guard, and then I'm going to kill carrier, and then hoping that Paul is there.
So let's see if it's working. Oh dear. My signal. So let's see if it's working. Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much, Phil. And yes, I'd be interested in seeing what you lectured on at the Bletchley Park. That would be very, very interesting. If I may say so, I know my signals are not perfect, but I had some breakup of your sound. It was probably my end, because the dish is not really working as I'd like it to. What else? Pluto in a box. Oh yes, I've done one of those too, Martin. Look, I can show you. I don't know whether you can see. I've bought out the second TX and RX as well, and the clock, of course, for the Leo Bodner. And that little opening there is for the PTT, so I can run the PTT. And round the back, I've got the LAN connection. That's get it round the right way, and the 12-volt supply. And I've got a voltage regulator, of course, inside. So I did that because I like experimenting with the my signal stopped. I suppose it's working okay though. I like messing about with the Pluto, and that gives me the most range, what I can do with it. Let me see, what else have I got here? Brian's signal was very good. I like that signal very much. It was a nice clean signal. But Leon's signal, of course, is as good as well, and Gary's. And let me see what else was there. There's nothing else really. But what I've been doing this week is nothing to do with satellites, but trying to make a nice QSL card again. So I've been working with GIMP and learning how to use it, and now I'm probably going to get some printed. So I'll be sending some off to via the club. I hope that works everywhere in the UK and South Africa. So apart from that, there's not really a lot to tell you about. As I said, I'm a bit annoyed that my dish doesn't seem to work properly, but it's just too cold at the moment to do anything outside. So I'm going to give the microphone to Mike. Golf 0 Mike Juliet Whiskey. Microphone to you, Mike, from Oscar Echo 8 Papa Charlie Kilo. I'll run the that's right, I'll run the test card first. I just hope it's coming up. I'm just checking.
Good. Well, hopefully you've got a picture, and everything is working as expected. For Peter's benefit, I've put the waveform monitor that isn't available in OBS up on top of the OBS screen, looking at the output. And it seems to be working, and the reason I'm peeking out, by the way, is because of all the sunlight, which is perhaps a bit too much for this particular application. Benno, I said in the chat with your microphone, I think the only issue was it was distorted, and I don't know if that's a distortion at the input level, i.e. the microphone's overdriving the sound card, or it's just turned up too high in OBS or the sound settings. Apart from that, it sounded very good, and it was close, it wasn't echoey, and that's what you want, of course. So it sort of sounded like a broadcast audio type of signal. It was a bit bassy, but that might well be because it was turned up too high, I don't know. So try turning it down a bit on the next over and we'll see if it sounds better. But on speech peaks it was getting distorted. Mine is too, by the way, because I've got this microphone turned up quite high. It's going into the red, but hopefully not too far. Right, okay. What was I going to talk about? I was going to say I didn't have anything because I'm sure I showed the pressure meter last time, but then I thought maybe I didn't, so I'll very, very quickly show it, and apologies if you've already seen this. Oops, sorry, we've got two microphones there. Right, so hopefully you can see that. It's a very simple thing. It is just an Arduino with a pressure sensor and an LCD, and that's it. So the reason was because we were having some interesting lifts, and it's useful to keep a monitor of the atmospheric pressure when you're doing that. Having sort of a hatred for wiring up things, I decided I'd do an LCD, a PCB and KiCad. So if I transition to this, this is probably the most simple PCB you can imagine because it's got almost no components in it. I mean, it's got the modules and some headers. It has 3 resistors. One is for the LCD, the other 2 are for the I2C termination, and 1 pot, which is for the contrast on the LCD. So it's just a sandwich really of all the boards, and there's the LCD on the other side. Gives you an idea of what it is. So I'm waiting for that to turn up. But that's not really very much technically to show you, is it? So there you go. Okay, don't think I've got very much else to talk about this week. It was a week of work and trips into London and things, and it's going to be the same next week, so I doubt I'll have much to talk about. But anyway, it's good to see everybody, and such a big net this time. I've got to pass it over to Frank. I've not seen you for a while, Frank, so let's see what you have to say. Zulu Sierra 6 Golf Echo G0MJW.
Maybe that works. Okay. It seems a bit soft, but anyway, good afternoon everybody. Have been a bit scarce. So, okay.
and I'm a bit out of practice how everything works here. The new year is nearly over, but anyway, Happy New Year to everybody, and we can do with it, that's for sure. I have had a bit of a problem with the Mini Tuner software. It worked for a minute or two and then it just stopped repeatedly, and I couldn't figure out what that is for a long time. I still actually don't know, because today I switched it on and everything worked. But to be on the safe side, I'm at the moment using Tom's Open Tuner, so that works. And also I still have the problem with the VLC mode on the Mini Tuner. It refuses to cooperate. Again, I have no idea what it is. I try to check everything and double cross and something stupid, usually something stupid, but okay. I have to test it a bit more. It's just that the Sunday afternoon is a little bit an awkward time for me, family-wise, so it doesn't work always. Otherwise, yeah. By the way, that Mini Tuner stopping has nothing to do with workload. The processor is loafing along at what, 25% or something. So yeah, but then again, I'm not a computer man, and when it comes to problems like that, I struggle. Okay, but I hope that in future I will pop up a bit more. I haven't physically done anything amateur-wise, so I have nothing to show. But okay, the main thing is now to hello. I'm still around, and Gary, you can take it.
Okay, Frank, ZA6 Golf Echo, and the group ZA6YI. Yeah, fantastic to see you again, and yeah, I think you must just reload VLC, but go to that older version, the 32-bit version, and that should work, man. There must be some little gremlin that's messing you around. But lovely to see you there, and yeah, all noted. I just want to also say a very good afternoon to Peter, who's watching on YouTube. There's a number of guys watching. Alfredo, Italy Kilo 1 Charlie Oscar Alpha. Well, he says ciao, Italy Kilo 1. That's in Italy. Hello to Alfredo. Claudia, hello to you. And then, of course, there's Henry, ZA6 Mike Charlie, who, I don't know why it doesn't come on. He's watching us, but he's watching us via YouTube. So hello to you, Henry, and I hope you get the other module this week. And then, of course, Peter Rudolph, that is DK3 Zulu Fox. And then we have ZA6 Alpha Bravo Golf. He's watching as well, and it's nice to have him on as well. Work colleague of mine, so all good. And I hope he's watching on his own receiver. So there we go. Right, Peter, all noted on the noise there. It looks like the noise figure you showed there looks like when I wake up in the morning without having my hair combed yet. But anyway, I did one change. I hope you can do a little test now. I did one little change. Leon prefers it this way, to be honest. And so I'd like to see what your noise generator, or whatever you want to call it, your graphs show. It'll be interesting. Anyway, to carry on where Martin started to pull the switch, he made one of these gadgets. Oops, let me just get this thing in line here. He made one of these, so I made one as well, and it worked quite well. But I found that it's a bit thin. I only used 3mm. As you can see, I'll do it that way, and you can see it can move. So that's not ideal. And so I made another one. I haven't put the call sign on. And this one is a wee bit better. It's a bit stronger. It's still 3mm. That's the only raw material I had. But what I did, I'll just turn it around. We added a piece here and added a piece there so that it works like a knife. Let me get it in so that when you pull it in, it guides it. And it's nice and sturdy. Now there's no way it can run offline. So that's a better idea. So I'll make up a little sketch sometimes this week and get that next week. I can maybe just show you guys or whatever. It's so simple, but it works. And then Peter, yes, I hope your wife recovers soon. My wife's also not too well. It's a thing from COVID. So we're taking her to a specialist Monday or Tuesday to see what's going on. And luckily the guy that I'm taking her to is a very good friend of mine. So it helps. He gets me in very quickly. But he's a pulmonologist. So it's to do with her lungs, man. And that's she's never had asthma or anything like that. And it's suddenly come on and battling to breathe. So we hope he can do something about it. But there's been a lot of these cases in South Africa where after the COVID and after those that had the inoculation starts to get this problem creeping out. Anyway, it's what it is, and we certainly hope all these things come to an end. In a good way, of course. Martin, yes, your system's working like a dream. No problem to copy. And yeah, I got the first release of that new version, and it's working very well from Uwan there. Cleaned up a lot, and so did Fox 5 OEO. Everest cleaned up a lot of the software. That's why we had to re-flash the Pluto, and a lot of old things that were hanging around is chucked out. So it's much better. It's running very stable, and I'm quite satisfied with the way it's working right now. Brian, yes, nice to have your wife help you with the dish. Well, your signal's excellent. It's absolutely no problem. Video, audio, and signal strength. So whatever your wife did, boy, she had the magic touch. Anyway, glad to see you on. Benno, I agree with Mike on your microphone gain. I think you're overdriving from the mic to the input is a bit high. I did tune it on YouTube, pulled it back a bit so it sounded a bit better, but it's a little bit harsh. Not your normal good audio. But anyway, you can just pop it down a bit. I think you did bring it down. It sounded good. But when you started to talk, you added a bit of kilowatts there and audio gain. And of course, it went a little bit awry. But, you know, we're now being critical. Peter, I did comment on, and I'd like to see the waveform of this particular picture now. That might have improved things. Leon prefers this one to, I can very quickly do it actually. This is what I normally do, you see, so it makes it a bit brighter, that's all. Bit of a color correction, but I'll take it down to what Leon prefers. He's like a mobile video audio analyzer. Many years at the South African Broadcasting Corporation studying these things and tuning them right, so he knows what he's about. Phil, yeah, we certainly look forward to a presentation from you on that wonderful subject. I know you gave us a bit of a presentation the other day to Martin and I, and it was fantastic. So I'm all for it, and I'm sure many guys will agree. Paul, great signal from you, no problem. Nice audio, nice video, and also great work on that Pluto, as what Martin's is. You guys are doing very well. Mike, yeah, nice signal from you, and yeah, you call that a simple board. Simple to you maybe, but it looks great, and not so simple to others. And Frank, good to see you, and I hope you can make it more often on a Sunday. Yeah, it'd be nice to see you again. Audio was great, video was great, no problems from your side at all. So with that, I know Leon wants to run. He might be on the road. So if ZS1 Mike does not take it, because he's got to get to his other QTH, we then hand it to Martin. But hopefully Leon's there for an over. ZS1 Mike, failing which? G8KOE from ZS6YI. Mike, failing which?
Okay, oh no, you're not getting rid of me that easily. Okay, Gary. Yes, I forgot to mention, Gary, I've been looking for a very long box. I want to send Leslie that one glider that I showed you, but the fuselage is not a problem. I've got a box that will accommodate that easily. But the wing cannot split, you know, and the wing is I think 1.8 meters or maybe nearly 2 meters, and I just cannot find a long enough box, and as you know, it's quite fragile. Because I'm very worried. The glider that you've got is a fantastic glider, but it's a high performance glider. That thing is not going to be slow, and it's also not going to be self-correcting. It's got just about no dihedral. It's for experienced flyers, whereas the one that I showed you with the polyhedral wing, you just let go and it will level out itself, and it's much slower. So I'd love to get that to him, but I don't know how to get the wing there, but we're working on it. Anyway, okay, your signal is perfect, no complaints as always. Okay, Martin, let me see now, what did I write here? I made lots of notes. Martin, I said poor video. Now, that is only the little picture of you. The rest of your video is top notch as always, but I think you've got too many insertions and things there, because your camera, normally I can see the rim of your glasses, I can almost read what's written on the screws. But with all the stuff you've got going there now, your picture when you came on, it was very much tiled, and yeah, so I don't know what goes there. Anyway, okay, I see noted on your bypass of the PA yards. It seems like there's something wrong with that little driver box in there. Wonder how that went. Okay, Brian, G6HFS, you've got a very, very cold picture. It looks like you're shooting on Ektachrome 40, which was a tungsten film, and you had to add a daylight filter. It's very, very bluish, your picture. Otherwise, it's fine. No problem. And your microphone is a little bit too high. You're popping it. If you can drop it maybe 4 or 5 inches. But otherwise, your audio is lovely, and there's no problem with your picture. It's always nice and sharp. It's just, I notice it's very cold today. It's very bluish. Okay, Benno. That microphone is a disaster. It's not slightly loud, it's thundering, it's clipping all the way. The bit that you pulled it down made no difference. Yeah. As who was it? I think Mike said, when you really started to talk, your voice went up and it was like clipping all the time. And it is very bassy. The only good thing about it is it's close, so you don't get any ambient noise and echoes and stuff. So it's a very clean audio otherwise. So start by bringing down the level, at least 6 dBs, and if you can turn down the bass a bit somewhere, it'll be a very nice audio, because it's studio quality. It's just totally overdriven and a bit bassy. Yeah, that's it for Benno. Otherwise, your picture is good. Everything is good as always. Peter. Very bad sync. You're about a sentence out with your audio, and interesting on your waveform stuff there. I've never really had a look at a digital waveform monitor. You know, on digital audio, I wouldn't even know what to look for. I'm used to the analog stuff. There, I know exactly what to look for. But there was something. Is it in OBS where I found a vector analyzer and a monitor? Yeah, there is one in OBS. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, okay, Phil. Again, your audio when you start up is intermittent. Up, beep, up, beep, beep. And then after about a minute, it's fine. And then it stays perfect. It must be something in your Linux business. You've got a very slow start on your audio. But otherwise, your picture quality is good. And the audio, once it's settled down, is good. There's nothing wrong. And yes, please, that presentation. I'm going to record it as I told you before. And I want you to do it on a high symbol rate. Because that is really something quite unique. Paul, yeah, your audio is still very late. But I mean, you've got many things to look at. But yeah, the picture was stable and the audio was good. It's just late. That's why you think you don't have audio. You must just listen longer and then you'll hear yourself. And a very nice Pluto box that you've made there also. You guys must be very wealthy to have someone just build in a Leo Bodner into the Pluto. So my Leo Bodner is like an instrument. I don't build it into anything. I needed to check all sorts of things, you know, check the time base of my signal generators and see if my rubidium clock is still right and so on. So I'll never build it into something. Okay, that's Paul. Otherwise, no problem, Paul. Your picture is okay. Mike, yes, that barometer thing is very interesting. I will have to talk about that sometime. I'd like to build one as well. At the moment, I'm using an old altimeter, which is nice and sensitive, much more than a normal aneroid barometer because of the gear ratio. But yeah, a digital one is so much better. I wonder, do you have any means of calibrating it, or is the sensor certified that it is correct? And I wonder whether that is Q and H, or what's the other unit. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Frank, yeah, your picture is good, audio is good. As you say, a little bit low, but nothing to worry about. Rather low than too high than clipping. Clipping is unforgiven in broadcasting. But you have now all the other people are going to say, no, you're talking rubbish. At times there's a tiny little rattle in your audio, just a little bit, also like a grain of sand. I know you're not using a noise gate or anything because I can hear the background noise. You've got nice audio, but I've never heard it on your signal before. But it's like just on some words, it's like just like a grain of sand sitting somewhere. But that's it from me, guys. I have to hit the road. It's past 4 already here in South Africa, and yes, I've got to throw the stuff in the car and get going. So thanks for a nice session on the satellite, and hopefully we see you guys next time. Martin, over to you. G8KOE for the group. ZS1MM is, I'll be listening in the background a little bit while I'm packing, but then I'm going to kill the power. Take it, Martin, from ZS1 Mike. Now going QRT.
ZS1 Mike, G8KOE returning. Okay there, Leon. Yeah. Right, let's kill the sound. Yeah, the reason the Leo Bodner, I've got it internally in that particular Pluto, is that my shack is in the corner of the lounge, so it's trying to tidy things up a little bit. It's an absolute mess anyway. I do have a second one. There were reasons why I purchased 2, but that's sitting not doing anything at the moment. I used to have the LMB locked up, and then yeah, we ended up with 2, shall we say. So that's why I'm building it inside. It's easily removable, the way in which it is constructed. Yeah, Peter's audio and such like. He keeps moving his mouth away from the microphone for me. Plus, it was 2 weeks out of date, the audio anyway. Yeah, don't know if that's what you get with yeah, he knows what I think. but he should have been on last week with vMix. The I forget the call sign of the person who was on last week, but he used vMix and demonstrated all sorts of things with vMix. So anyway, and to Phil, yeah, it'd be good to see the bits and pieces of the lecture. And I've moved my lighting slightly. It needs to. I changed the bracket arrangement, and I think it needs to be raised up a little bit to bounce off the wall a bit more. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but I will look into it. The lighting here does vary quite considerably. And what's this I was going to show? Oh, it's gone now. I was going to say we did have some sunshine, but the sunshine's disappeared, so I can't show that. And to Mike, yeah, there's there's those two outlets, isn't there? I think they use the mute one. Obviously, I think it's also used when you change channels. But the SD one, the on pin 2, it sort of takes it into a energy saving sort of mode. But I think the mute one is used in TVs in particular as you swap channels, etc. But I could be wrong. I don't notice any plop. In the good old days when I used a relay to stop that side of things. Gee there, Gary, if you do speak to Ohan, say Martin's very pleased with his 3.99. You're right with Everest bits and pieces. I'm not actually running the very latest firmware, but I will update to it. I think I only noticed this a couple of days ago that this had come out. Things just even keep moving, even though they're not a lot supposed to be happening. Anyway, it's good to see everybody on, and a good net, and hope to see you next week. So I'll pass it on to Brian, and I used a really heavy duty bracket on my. I paid the money for the heavy duty bracket and the fixings, etc. Because I was concerned that my dish would move because it sits on top of the garage effectively on the side of and the wind was whistling up there quite badly, and you could see the signal going up and down as the whole dish was flexing, but it did flex back, so we're in luck. So a test card over to you there, Brian, from G8KOE.
G6HFS. I think we've got audio. Now, just looking at the screen, yeah, I do look a bit bluey. I did try and reset the camera. Perhaps I'll have to go into... in actual fact, the picture on my laptop looks totally different to what's on the big screen through the ride. It is a bit bluey. Perhaps I'll have to go in and play with the hue settings and see if that helps. And to Martin, yeah, I thought I'd used a heavy enough duty one, but evidently not. That got taken down, and heavy duty big long raw bolts put in, the everything else. From the slight drafts we've had since I put it back up, it does seem a lot sturdier, so perhaps it was a bit weak on the bracket in the first place. But anyway, we'll keep these crossed, see how it goes for the next few weeks. I think we are due some wind next week, so we'll see how it goes. So I'll say 7.3s for everybody this afternoon. Nice to come on. Hope to catch you all soon. and I'll hand it over to Benno, PA3FBX, G6HFS.
Benno, there was no audio. So I hope there's no audio from you this over. You overcranked the volume. Anyway, Peter said he had to run off. He has to go to the hospital. And Frank said he's going to have to go QRT as well. So the next one to take it will be you, Phil. Mike 0 Papa India Tango from ZA6YI.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, because my audio is breaking up. I'm going to hear myself come back in a minute. I'll have to have a look into that. Take your headphones off. There we go. Yeah, don't understand that, but because of, it must be the receiver, because I don't touch OBS. Everything's set up. OBS is running. FFmpeg is running. My ports down is running, and the only thing that I switch in is the RF into the PA, and yet the audio's breaking up at the beginning. I wonder if that's anything to do with the receiver, because nothing's changed. But anyhow, right, I'll have to look into that. Yeah, what we've got here. Right, yeah, Leon, yeah. I'll have a look into my audio. As I say, I don't really understand why that should happen. It must be something to do with the receive. Yeah, anyhow, I'll think about that. Gary, I hope your wife gets sorted out. Yeah, something like COVID. I'm quite lucky I haven't had COVID. I'm actually on a COVID vaccine trial, so I've actually had a vaccine that probably a lot of people haven't had. But yeah, it's neither here nor there. When I was in my early 40s, I was very fit. As an amateur, I used to cycle, and I was very, very fit. And I got flu, not a cold, or even a bad cold. I got real full-blown flu, and ended up with pneumonia, going to hospital. And because of my age, and I was a non-smoker, and I was very fit, the consultant didn't believe I could be so ill. I remember him saying, he had entered a bed, you know, you can't be that ill. I remember him saying, in the morning, take him off oxygen for half an hour and do another blood gas test on him. So the nursing staff took me off oxygen, but they forgot to tell the person who was going to take the blood. So by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was literally as high as a kite. And that's what happens, you end up sort of euphoric. And I remember running up and down the ward, and my wife's come in, and I said, I said, I feel so well. I said, I'm going home. And then this nurse heard it. She was walking past, and I remember her saying it, you ain't going nowhere, you're seriously ill. And it was at that point I started to feel a bit funny, and I lay down on the bed, and then it went, I don't remember much else. I know I've been told I was hallucinating and God knows what else. But anyhow, the outcome of all of that, I do have scar tissue in my right lung. Not that it causes me any problems, but if I do get a cold now, it feels like someone's sticking a knife in my chest. And that's the after effects I got. But I hope she's okay, because I know there's a lot of these, what they call it, after COVID. So yeah, there's a lot of it around. A lot of people have got it. There we go. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm happy to do my presentation. I'm not sure if I'm going to be here next week. I'm going to go down and see my son, which would be nice. I haven't seen him since before Christmas. But if that all falls through, which it could, if that falls through, then I'm more than happy to do a presentation. And I think the best way probably would be to do it was to let everybody else have their turn, and then I'll come in at the end and I'll do it, and if people are not interested, then they've had their turn and they can turn off and go and do whatever they want to do. But yeah, I'm happy to do it. Right, I don't think I have much more to say, so I'm going to hand it back to, I think it's Paul. I think Paul is still there, but if not, I'm sure that somebody will take it over. So I'm going to put up a test card.
So I'm hoping this is going to work. Let's have a look. Yeah, I don't know why my signal seems to be a bit weak, but I hope it's working. Anyway, yeah, I think the word you were looking for, Phil, is long COVID. It's affected a lot of people here in Austria, and they did say, though, they've got new medicines that have dealt with it, and it's dealing with it quite well, apparently. Yeah, and Ben, there was no sound at all, and at the beginning, if you're over, Phil, the sound was breaking up, and it took some time, and then suddenly it worked. So I don't know whether that's a help or not. So I'm going to wish everybody a nice week, and thank you very much for letting me into the group, and I've enjoyed it very much. It seems to be working, although I've got to get my dish sorted because I can't even see myself back, but I can see myself on YouTube, so I know it's working. Anyway, 73 to everyone, and I'll just put up the test card, and then the microphone goes to Mike, G0MJW.
All right, thank you, Paul. Yeah, this is odd because I didn't have that problem with Phil. So I suspect it's the receiver, and maybe because it's gone from one type of transport stream audio codec to another, as handed over, that might have taken a while to catch up. So there might be nothing at all wrong with Phil's transmission. I don't know. Okay, well, I haven't got anything else to add really. I think Benno is hoping to demonstrate the vector scopes as well. He's probably downloaded the same plugin as I did whilst I was waiting for my turn, and it does have a useful function, I guess. You can see what's going on. You can see these whiting out bits if the sun gets on your hair and stuff. But knowing how to interpret it is half the game, isn't it? Right, 7-3 everyone. Hope everyone has a good week, and hopefully catch you next week. G0MJW, and I think I'm passing on to Gary because Frank has gone. So ZS6YI G0MJW.
Okay, Mike, thank you very much. Just let's get this into lock. G0MJW ZS6YI, returning to wrap up the net. No, it's been an interesting net this afternoon. I want to thank everyone for participating, and also just a special hello to Andres, ZS6 Abel Baker Golf. He's watching, and hopefully he'll be on one of these days. Who knows? So with that, I'm going to close net. And Leon, yes, Leon, I wouldn't worry too much. It's a lot of effort you're going through. And we got everything working on that controller. It's all working perfectly, but we haven't taken it for a test drive. We will do that not next Saturday, but the Saturday after next. And we're taking it to the airfield, and then some of the experts will take it up and then hand the controls over to Leslie, because, as you rightly say, he's got no help. There's no, what do you call it, GPO, what do you call the thing, gyroscopes or anything like that on this particular one. So that gaan interessant wees. Anyway, with that, I'm closing the net, wishing everyone a very happy week, and may all the wives recover quickly and fully, and we'll see each other next week, all being well. This is ZF6YI, and now I'll go in QRT, bidding everyone on frequency a happy week. 7-3 all.
Yeah, hi guys, just back, and quickly testing a little bit. I think I managed to do it better now. Somehow I messed up my complete audio bit somewhere along the line of installing that that spectralizer. That, well, you have, as you see, also like Mike, I quickly looked at the plugin. I already installed that. I haven't played with it, and I was playing with that while listening to the other stations, and then somewhere along the line I completely managed to get rid of my audio channel. Well, solve that now. So I think I couldn't get any music through it, any audio channel. It was not microphone related. Actually, I turned it a little bit down. I think I can turn it a little bit further down. But I was comparing with you guys, and I think this is more or less better. Actually, I already found that it's already also have 3 settings, and I believe that those 3 settings also influence the quality of the bass. So I think this is a little bit better. Okay, well, anyway, still to play with, we need to play with 3.99, so I will continue playing with the whole set, and after that we'll talk to each other next week. Have a great week from Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray off and clear.